Oh, well. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Hey, look. Alright. It's midnight, which means I'm gonna start. So, for those of you tuning in, whether or not through live stream or the VOD or the YouTube video, welcome. This will be Tutorial Tuesday. I am Drawnonward, and that's how you'll be seeing a lot of it. I mean, normally there's a bit of, I play and stuff, but I'm not playing tonight. Tonight I'm trying to teach. So, with that said, I want to get a few things out of the way. One, this can all change. The game's still in flux. Checker made the game. This could totally change. By the time you see it, it's almost impossible to say whether or not the game will be the same. Now, this is kind of one of the more intrinsic-based missions in the game, so probably not. Probably. I don't know, but that's my guess. And, let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, thanks to Checker for making such a badass game. And also, I'd like to thank the community for, allowing me to use clips from their streams. Before I go into any of these, I'm going to attempt to let you know how to find these lovely ladies and gentlemen, so that you can check them out. And if you find any styles you like or players you like, follow them. Let them know. Let them know that you like how they play, even if they might not stream as often as I do. They're still good players and deserve to be recognized. And they clearly stream, or else I could never get these videos. So I wanna go right in to the first one, because I wanna, I just want to show how this all works. This is about banana bread. This is about contacting the double agent. And let's just have just a standard, nothing crazy going on stream. Example. So this is the first one, and this is like the archetypal example for contacting the double agent. This comes from a Titleist stream, which you can see is twitch.tv/TitleistWarden. He's a very good player. You can find him on there on Twitch, and gosh, I forget his Twitter right now. I apologize. And this one's pretty short, but I just want to show the archetypal for anyone who might not be fully familiar. Let's see. I'm not going to go for long. Don't worry, Scientee. Hello, Never. Alright, so let's just go right in. This is the banana bread. This is the core of what this is about tonight. So, I didn't hear any sound, but he talks and it's banana bread. That's so weird. I heard no sound. I hope they're not all like that. But he talks, he gets a white test, he gets his banana bread, he contacts double agent. Some people are out of conversation. Like this fellow could not have done it. Let's go into that a little bit. So, to let you guys all, of course, know, you need to do a few things to banana bread. First of all, you need to be in a conversation circle with more than just yourself. It can't be just you. And secondly, you need to be in a conversation circle. I guess I said that poorly, but you get the idea. You need to be in a conversation circle, or CC, with more than one person. So, when I talk about lowlights tonight, I'm going to be talking a lot about hard lowlights. And what I mean by those is, I know you can't be the spy. That cannot possibly be the spy. There is no way around that. So, for example, if 3 people are out of conversation, and the banana bread hits, you can safely lowlight all 3 of those people, because they cannot be the spy. There's just no way. It's impossible. Now, of course, there are, wishy-washy ways around this, where, you may not catch someone leaving and lowlight them. That happens, and we'll go into that in a bit. But it's just solid, if you're at the statues, banana bread, it can't be you. If you're checking your watch, can't be you. I mean, those are hard lowlights. And what we saw was just kind of the archetypal, this is a banana bread, nothing special going on. standard, just, what we've all know to come and love. And I'd like everybody to sit and think about what it means to do the mission of contacting the double agent. When you really boil it down, if you're the spy, you get to, you look at the mission and you say to yourself, all right, what am I trading for this mission? And of course, this is assuming you're doing a real banana bread and the double agent is in your conversation circle. What am I trading for this mission? You're trading information. No matter how you boil it down, you're trading information. You're saying, okay, sniper, I'm going to give you this amount of information, which is not always lowlights, I want to note. Usually, but not always. And in exchange, I'm doing one of my missions. Maybe one of my 2, one of my 4, one of my 6, if you're, really going for it. And there's a lot to that. There's almost no middle ground. I mean, you have to understand that. And I mean, it's not fully that simple, but I think that's what it boils down to. You say, all right, sniper, you get this information. I'm going to help you up to here. But until there, this is my ground. You don't know any of this. This is still a mystery to you. And then from the sniper's point of view, conversely, you say, okay, so the spy has given me this. What can I deduce? Of course, the obvious one are hard lowlights, as I've previously stated. Your hard lowlights, they're important. They help you. And they're kind of the basis on a lot of sniper play. And the reason I'm talking about it so much is because a lot of newer snipers have a hard time and they feel lost. And these are just hard, solid lowlights. There's no way the spy is gonna sneak in and no. If they're out of CC when you banana bread, when it hits, you're fine. You're good. That's how it works. All right. But when you're new, for example, you don't always hit your white tests. Or rather, you don't always hit your green tests. And so let's take a look at what happens when the worst thing that can happen. Alright, so let's go. Alright, so I think it's this one, yes. Alright, so this is from my stream, so I don't need to plug me at all. You're already here. Hopefully the sound works. And this is what happens when you kind of just... Is my fan loud? I'll just turn it off then. Thank you. So, this is what happens when... It's probably a fuzzy microphone, but I'm still going to turn off my fan. This is what happens when you mess up. Totally happen. I've seen it happen. Right now. I've seen that happen. I've never seen that happen. Oh! Whoa. Now, I'd like to note that I found that hilarious, because I've died a billion times to red tests. But when you red test a banana bread, you usually die. So let's go there. Now you can live with the red test. I want to get this out of the way. Red test does not mean you die. Now granted, right there, of course it did, and that is usually the case. But it doesn't mean it always is. You can live with a red test. Yeah, Slappy Davis and others have totally done well with red tests, and it's just a matter of not giving up, in my opinion. It's staying strong. It reminds me of a game I played maybe a week ago. I was doing, I was not playing that well. And my opponent was being rather slow. The opponent in question was Kletos. And I'm sniping, it gets to the end, and suddenly there's a time ad. And I start freaking out, and I just, I can't figure out who it is, and I just take a pot shot and lose. And I was talking to my opponent, Kletos, afterwards, and he did a white test time ad right in front of me. Like, my laser was right there, and he was right there, and he just white tested and just ended up winning. I mean, he thought he was dead. And, he should have been if I was paying attention, but I wasn't. No matter what the situation is, you can always win. And even if I died there, it doesn't mean that you have to at any other point. There's a lot to be said about how important it is to just keep on going. No matter what's going on, like, for example, a red test banana bread. Or even if you just get a white test and you think you're incredibly suspicious. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad or, terrible about it. You just need to play it cool, keep going, and not ruin your own strategy, not get yourself killed. Kind of like when you're sniping and you go into tunnel vision, you're basically losing the game for yourself then. And I will at some point go more into tunnel vision stuff, and a lot more complicated things. But again, this is for the newer players ideally. This is for the players who got in recently and may be a little lost. At least I hope it is. I hope this is helping. But this is the first one. I can't promise anything's gonna really help, to be quite frank. But it's just something a lot of people need to keep in mind. There's no automatic lose button in Spy Party, no matter how obvious you feel. So I mean, a red test banana bread sounds awful, and it's probably the hardest tell in the game next to clanking a statue. But that's fine. That's okay. Nothing. There's worse things to do. Now, what are they? I don't know. It's a little tough. But I just want to let you all know there's no reason why you should ever really just give up a game. No matter how dire it seems, no matter how much you think they're on to you, you need to survive, really. And that's what I really want to say about red testing banana breads. There's a lot more to it. A lot of people just give up and just kind of be like, alright, I red tested, and usually you die. But there are times when you don't, and you need to be able to be ready to take advantage of those times. Because you never know when it's going to happen. You never know when suddenly, the red test doesn't get you killed. They didn't see it. Maybe they got a whole bunch of lowlights. Maybe, maybe they have it narrowed down to 3, but, even high-level players, as Kletos says in the chat, can miss them often. And that's why you shouldn't just keel over and die. You gotta keep going for it, even if it does get you shot. That helps you as a player. And that's what I really want to say on red tests. I mean, it seems obvious. It seems, I don't know, almost stupid. But it's something that a lot of players, I feel like, just kind of give up on. And I hate that. I really don't like that. I'll put it that way. So now there's a bit of a, how do I say it? So now I want to show you the opposite. I showed you a red test not a moment ago, and I want to show you the opposite. I want to show you a green test. Because not everything goes poorly, and eventually you learn how to green test with consistency. Eventually you learn how to get decent at it. And, I'm not saying that you'll never red test. Trust me, we all still get red test. Trust me, we all still mess up. That's fine. Just, you can't be too harsh on yourself. We're all learning this game. Even I'm still learning this game. 4,000 games in, I'm still trying to figure it all out. And that's the important thing to remember. I mean, if you think, oh well, I've played 3,000 games and I can't beat this other guy who has the same number. It's not always about numbers. It's not always about that. You can't just look at it that simply. People learn the game at different paces, you know? Somebody at 500 games and another player at 500 games could look vastly different as players, but look the same at 2,000 games, for example. I mean, the numbers aren't really important. It's just, you know, how far you are, what you've learned, what you've gathered, how quickly you can hold on to the knowledge you learn. So, as I said before, doing a mission like Banana Bread, you're asking the sniper, how much information am I willing to give you for this one mission? What's the trade-off here? Because there is a trade-off. There is no buts around it. There is a massive trade-off. Sometimes it's a large trade-off. In this case, I would say it's rather small, as we're going to go to this next clip by R7 Stewart. You can find him at twitch.tv/R7 Stewart. I believe he has a Twitter account, which is R7 Stewart, but I'm not 100% on that. You might not want to quote me. So let's just dive in here. Let's just kind of watch this video. Hopefully the sound works. Just making sure I got everything proper, like. Love his music. Okay, that was the clip. I swear, that was it. That was the. I'm emoting at the screen. It's not even on me. Here, let's. That was the entire clip. I swear. But again, you're trading information for what's going on. You're saying to the sniper, I'm going to give you this much information. And when you not only green test, but green test with that many people in conversation, as you can see, I mean, it's so much different. You're sure you're trading information, but what are you really trading? I mean, when I was looking for clips for tonight, and trust me, I looked for clips. I really did. I went through a ton of streams. I mean, holy whoa, I went through a lot of streams. And thankfully, you know, I didn't go through too many of mine, because I wanted to promote some of the other people. I wanted to show them off, in a way. You know, give people ideas on who they might want to watch. And, one thing I had a really hard time finding was what I would call perfect banana bread. And now perfect banana bread is kind of like what R7 had that we saw. It's a green test. It has to be a green test in my opinion. Although that's not always true. It kind of depends on how you look at it. If you know a player green tests a lot, it's almost better to white test. But that's going a little deep. I don't want to jump into that you know, that end anywhere near now. But I was looking for a perfect banana bread, which is you green test and everybody is in conversation. Everybody is in conversation, no matter, you know, the sniper has no hard lowlights, and of course that's what I'm talking about, hard lowlights. There's a lot of other ways to lowlight, you know, maybe that guy acts very AI-like, so he's, you know, he's a lowlight, and that's fine, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. Because we're just focusing on one mission, I want to focus on hard, solid lowlights that you can rely on, not, you know, kind of other reasons, which one day I'll probably go into, assuming this does not crash and burn. But there's a lot to be gleaned from that. It goes to show how hard it is, just inherently, with the way the game is made, to give the sniper basically no information. I mean, I've seen it done. I know I've done it. And I'm not counting balcony, because balcony's a little too easy. Balcony, I'm not saying it's impossible or anything else, but, you know, balcony means a lot less. If you do it on veranda, it's like insane. I mean, imagine, you know, you have all, what, like 30 cast members, all 30 people? They're not all cast members, all 30 guests in conversation circles. Everybody has at least another person in their conversation circle, and the BB goes off, you get it green. That's crazy. Like, that does not happen often. I'll put it like that. And trading no information for a mission is quite frankly a little insane. But usually you're trading off time, you're trading off, well, I guess just primarily time, because you're not giving information. at least hard information. I mean, you're of course there's going to be bits and pieces that the sniper can ideally pick up. There's bits and pieces that any sniper at any level should be able to pick up and figure out. Now, how long those take, the severeness of the information, how obvious it is, and to what degree it matters to that sniper, are hard to say, and that's very personal kind of stuff. Kind of like how we all have personal styles of playing, and that's fine. Many of us have similar styles of playing. Some of us take after other players. Ugh. But there's there's an important thing to be noted in a lot of this, and it's that, a lot of players might not fully see it as trading information when you do missions, and this applies to every mission, not just banana bread, but it's how I'm going to look at it. But that's what you're trading whenever you do any mission in the game, and that's important to note. Now there's a lot of tricks that spy players they want to use to get around the sniper's kind of gleam, and also ways you can get low light if they're not paying enough attention, which is what I'm going to show off right now. It's a trick. I know it's well known in the spy party community, I'll put it that way, but it's one way to get low lighted against certain snipers, and it's one way to get highlighted against other ones, and it is called, ladies and gentlemen, the banana split. I know that most of us, if not all of us, know exactly how this works and exactly how it happens. But I wanna make sure everybody knows. I wanna show it on stream and make sure all the new players understand exactly what we mean when I say banana split. Anyway, this is an example from my own stream. So again, I will not be plugging anyone except for myself. So it's just quick. I swear, nothing crazy is going on. You need a green. Oh yeah, you need a green test, and then you just leave. You just split, boom, and you leave. Simple as that. What you do next is, well, relatively unimportant. I'll put it that way. Now, if you notice, most people you can see are in conversation. I didn't see many people out of conversation. There's Toby, there's Damon, but there's, how do I put it? There's just a lot to that. I feel like a lot of this seems simple, and I suppose it kind of is. But when you get down to it, especially when you're new, not all of this might seem obvious. Not all of this might seem, how do I put it? Like precisely what's going on. I'll put it that way. So, what's going on here? Okay. Now, I know that, let's see. I know that not everything is always perfectly done or executed by spies or snipers. We all miss things. That's what makes Spy Party fun. It wouldn't be fun if we were all robots. It wouldn't be fun if we all just had perfect laser eyes and just veered on everything. That's the same with everything. It's a game. It's challenging. And on that note, messing up, it teaches you. It says don't do that anymore. And that's one of the cool things about Spy Party, because when you mess up, basically one of two things happens, I feel. One, you get away with it, which I'm going to go into in a little bit. Or two, you get shot. And what does getting shot do? It says, alright, don't do that anymore. Or maybe, on the rare case, maybe that was a bad time to do it. But you learn from it either way, But if you succeed, and then try it again, it's depending on the tactic, it either works and you incorporate it, or it's not worth it. And you only use it once in a while to never, and until it either fades out or maybe it gets better for some reason. Maybe a patch helps it, or who knows. It's really hard to say because the game's only seen so many changes. It's hard to really gauge how far it's going to go from its current state. And like I said earlier, all of this could be totally obsolete by the time somebody's viewing it on YouTube or a Twitch VOD. I don't know. In fact, I'm tempted to update them if that becomes the case. But when you do get shot, it's funny because Banana Bread is very much based on action tests. And sometimes you just kind of muck them up. But I feel like the best way to train yourself to not muck up is to get shot for poor tests, basically. It's the best way to learn. It's the quickest way to learn. Maybe not the best, but it's the quickest way to learn because it gives you this negative reinforcement. It says, no, don't do that. That is bad. And when you think of it that way, it's kind of impressive how both players can how they do what the game wants to do, how they reinforce each other. When you're the sniper, you shoot for a bad action test. It reinforces, hey, don't do that. You might want to practice your action tests, for example, if that's a recurring issue. I know that in the manual, the FAQ, a lot of the stuff that Checker wrote, he suggests to ignore action tests. He says, for a newbie, it's better. I don't fully agree. I feel like going to practice mode or playing against other players is the best way. You just want to go in there and you want to nail them. You want to get white, and then you get better and you get green, green. You want green action test. It is traditionally the best one. And the lower skill level you are, the more those will mean, actually. If you practice your ATs and you nail your action test, which is what I mean when I say ATs, for the record, for anyone wondering, it's kind of insane how much it helps you at a lower level. The issue is at a higher level, if you mess up on your ATs and are noticed, you're dead. And this next clip is a perfect example of that. This next clip comes from the player KCMMMM, 5 M's, I swear. And in it, he is going, let's see, oh, sorry. Before I describe the clip, you can find him at twitch.tv/KC and then 5 M's. 5 M's. And you can also find him on Twitter, at KC and then 5 M's. So, you can find him there. And in it, he is going to witness a red action test. And we're going to watch how he deals with that. Oh, man. Brutal. I know why there wasn't sound. But if you watch, I'll play it again. Maybe the sound will work. Doesn't seem to be working. But if you watch here, right here, he's going to try banana breading, and he gets a red test. Poor fellow. Oh, jeez. Do the sound effects? I'll do the sound effects. You got it, man. Oh, man. Banana bread. Cough, cough. Bang. And that's kind of how it goes a lot when you mess up at that level of play. Now, I'm not saying you can't do poor tests, or you can't... How do I put it? You can't do poorly, but it's important, your mistakes usually are a little more magnified. I think that's a good way to put it. I believe it's 2 coughs, but that's not important here. So, I hope that makes sense. I hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from there. So, like I showed earlier, there are, I suppose. Yeah, because if you walk out, you can cough a few more times. But anyway, off topic. There's also a few interesting tricks you can use with your banana breads, especially if you're good at action tests. There is, I have an opponent who, he does really well against me. He kind of knows how I play. And, he sent me this, clip, because I asked him to. I'm not gonna lie there. And it does a perfect example of showing what you can do using the banana bread as a distraction. Because that's just a perfect, how do I put it? It's a good way to use it at a little higher levels. Because when you first start, I feel, use banana bread and it just kind of as a mission. And eventually you realize, hold on. I can banana bread, and while they're busy highlighting and lowlighting, which I'm gonna be frank, I had clips for, and then they disappeared off the face of the earth. I was frantic, but it happens. I don't want to go into that. While they're busy, using that information that you're trading them, you run off and you do something else. You accomplish a mission of your own. So, the thing I'm about to show you guys is a little longer than the other ones, but it's a great example of how you can use banana bread to just friggin' just ruin your opponent. And this is from Kletos. I know, surprising. This is from Kletos, and this is him playing myself. Kletos, you can find him at twitch.tv/Kletos, and he has his own Twitter, which is just at Kletos. And this is a good example. If you notice, he's already done Contact Double Agent, but assuming this is the right video, you'll understand why. Now notice he's watching my laser. He waits for me to go around.
Send me in the bread.
And then he just does like the ballsiest bug in the world. What do I do? What do I do? Nothing. I do nothing. Wacky YouTube videos. And that's very important to consider. A lot of newer players, I don't feel, fully grasp how potent that kind of stuff is. How, gosh, how do I even put it? How deep that goes. How deep that rabbit hole goes, if you will. Because there's so much space in what one can do with just a single banana bread. It's not just a mission. It's trading the information, and you say, alright, I'm giving you this, but in exchange, I'm doing a mission. And if you do it like that, you can get 2 missions done, even 3, if you're really good and you're really skillful. I don't want to say lucky. Sure, sometimes a sniper swings around, but part of being a sniper is knowing when and where to look. It's knowing, okay, I need to look here at this time because I expect the spy to, they want to be around that area, say the ambassador. And if the sniper doesn't do that, that's not luck that they missed it, I feel. That's skill on the spy's part for knowing when to go in and grab the mission. Grab it by the horns. Because, I mean, I've known a lot of people who, oh, it's just luck, or, that you lost, or, I don't feel that luck can attribute to that much when you really get down to it. There's a point where it isn't all skill, but a lot of it is skill. There's just a lot of space there. I'll put it that way. And because of that, there's a lot of important play with banana bread, because it's a mission we all do. It's a mission we all end up going for. It's probably the most commonly done mission right now, if you consider it. At least I think it is. I might be wrong there. And that's why I'm starting with it. Again, this is kind of aimed at newer players, so I feel like I might be going over some things that many of the people watching, at least initially, know already, and that's fine. Um, Hopefully, maybe, this might remind you or something. Who knows? But for the newer players, I'm hoping this helps you understand some of the more nuanced things that can happen with banana bread. And I'm not saying I'm done or anything. I'm just trying to give examples. I'll put it that way. Now, of course, one of the bits of banana bread, and this is kind of one I can't show very easily, which is why I don't have a clip for it, but I do want to discuss it, is not banana breading. It's saying to your opponent, alright, for example, on a courtyard, any 4 or 5, courtyard 2, you're saying to your opponent, alright, you gotta swap. Sure. You got it. You get to see the fact, you gotta have the chance at seeing my bug. You got it. Seduce? Behavioral. It's you walk up to somebody twice or more. Like that guy's acting kind of weird. You notice them together. And then you inspect. But you leave them clueless as to when the game's really gonna take off, because it's a silent game, and that's another aspect of the banana bread. It's simply ignoring it. It's simply not doing it, and it's not commonly done right now. I feel like it's a little unexplored. But it's important to remember that is a possible game. Now it's risky. It's super risky. But if you know you're going for it, if you go into the game saying, I'm not gonna bother. I wanna see what happens to the sniper when I attempt this. You'll find that a lot of players don't know exactly how to handle it. A lot of players find it hard to deal with sniping. Because, when somebody banana breads, generally one of two things happen. As a sniper, of course. They either lowlight everybody outside of conversation, which I would say is better the bigger the map is, the more people out of conversation. Actually, in a way, the less. It's kind of hard to say. And then the other like hard lowlights and highlights. I'm not really talking about softer tells, because this is just banana bread for now. One day, sure, but not now. The other ways you can highlight everybody inside the conversation, where you think the banana bread went off, or everybody, if you don't know. And on that topic, there is quite a bit to be thought about when you approach fake banana breads. Because fake banana breads, as you saw with the clip with Cletus, that was a fake banana bread, I might add. It's not something that's always obvious. It's something that I feel like a lot of snipers go on gut feeling, and that's acceptable. That's fine. Generally, you should know what the spy's up to, and if you don't, then that's just bad for your sniper game in general. That's not just banana bread play that's having an issue. That's all of it. So there's a lot to consider in that alleyway too. Fake banana bread, it's definitely not underused. It's used quite a bit. I could stand to use it a bit more. I'll be honest, but there's a lot of space there. There's a lot of space where you can just fake BB early on, hopefully giving them as little information as possible, green test or some such, and then they go on the game assuming that you've actually done a banana bread, maybe even lowlighting you, depending on how aggressive they are. And you can be very aggressive with lowlights, trust me. So, I mean, I know that when we talk about banana bread, a lot of players assume, I'm talking about real ones, stuff like that. But that's not the only thing I'm going for. I mean, no banana bread and fake BBs are part of the game. They're gonna be there, and they are as related to banana breading as just doing a real one, in my opinion. I mean, they're important to that game and that meta game, that game within a game, in a way. And when when you consider all the different possibilities, it's kind of stark. It's kind of crazy. But you have to. You have to figure out what your plan is, how much information you're willing to toss to the sniper, and that's tough because sometimes you don't want to give them. You don't want to give them those pieces of the puzzle, because when you're a sniper, you are kind of putting together a puzzle. But as a spy, you want to hoard all your pieces, and the sniper has to grab every little piece, and they can't interact with it. They have to will them into place. The spy is the one who's actually moving the pieces by messing up, because everybody messes up. It's a game we're human, I hope. So there's just quite a bit going on, as I've said like a billion times. And the way inherently contacting the double agent works has a lot of pieces to it. I mean, just the fact that you can get 3 inherent results, 3 possible ways to continue through the game, means a lot. And how you go along, even if you red test, it really, changes how the game plays, whether or not you get shot or you just scrape through a victory because they start tunneling on one person. It happens. It happens to all of us, I feel. So, let's see. Is there anything I am inherently missing? I think I wanna pull up one more game. Hopefully this works. It's just kinda... Now, this one, there's, this is a really good example of some really, really good sniper play, in my opinion. This shows, what a good sniper can do, in my opinion. It really, really nails it home. And this is brought to you by GCAT, who is I guess relatively new, but I don't really consider that too much anymore. GCAT was in the recent tournament, did quite well for a Warning Cat, a part of the team, and I believe GCAT also has a Twitter, which is at GCAT, I believe. I'm not 100% on these Twitter accounts, but let me pull up this game. So, here we have the clip. GCAT is sniping. And, the moment GCAT hears banana bread, GCAT's gonna know who the spy is. So basically, what happens there is the spy attempts to use the banana bread as a distraction, and which is Blood Wolf, if you're curious, and so he green swaps, right? So he gets a green test of the statues, and he walks over to do a quick banana bread. And in that time, an AI has come over to swap it, because it's a green swap. Of course, AIs do that. And the moment the BB goes off, you watch GCAT patiently wait to see the statues changed, knowing that the person holding it cannot banana bread then. He turns over and shoots the spy, because, that's an instance of using a banana bread to distract, and it goes wrong. And that happens. That's fine. That's what we learn from. And There's a lot of that out there. I think this is a great example of, in a way, higher level play, but it's dangerous. Using the banana bread as a distraction can backfire if the sniper's good. That's basically how it works. I mean, if the sniper's really good, they will notice it and they will punish you for it. Now that doesn't mean you can't come up with a strategy to fight that, but it does mean it's hard. So that's important to understand, in my opinion. There's a lot there, and it's tough to all grasp. There's just a lot going on, and this isn't all there is to learn with banana bread. This is just a lot of the basics that I wanted to cover. This is a lot of the introductory pieces that I feel like spies and snipers might want to consider when they're, a bit new. And that's fine. We are all new once. I know I was, and, I know I learned a thing or two looking up some of this. I mean, like, that was quite the clip. I'll put it that way. So, as for right now, and again, this is more or less, for new players, and the first couple ones will be. The first ones will simply be on the basics of the game. And, if you're more experienced, your time will come, I'll put it that way. But if any of you have questions, I'd love to, any questions about the banana bread or anything I went over tonight, I'd love to go over them. So please ask them in the chat, and I'll take a look. If there's any good questions, I'll definitely try and prune them out. But, yeah, so if you want to know anything more about anything I mentioned, maybe I just kind of mentioned in passing, or maybe I didn't go over well, please feel free to ask. So, let's see. This is an interesting question, and this does definitely relate to banana bread. Sign-T, who is a sniper specialist, says, do you try to identify the double agent as sniper, or do I only do that? Now, it really depends on the game, I feel. Sometimes I do. I totally do. I see where you're coming from. And identifying the real double agent from the suspected double agent, balcony excluded, of course, helps you immensely as sniper, because then you can know if something's real. You can know if they're actually getting their missions done, and how much information they're actually giving you. And you can narrow it down far more if you think it's real and you think you know who the double agent is. But that can backfire. You can low light the real spy and maybe give them a game, depending on how you handle lowlights. Which is, of course, primarily why I talked about hard lowlights for the stream tonight. Or for the video if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch VODs. But, sometimes I do. It's helpful when you can figure it out, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience, and it's not something I'd say I'm good at. However, I could see at some point us getting good at that as a community, at higher level play, and that becoming a big part of sniper play. Finding out who the real double agent is, if we can, if there's like a possible way to do it, could really help a lot of snipers. It could really change up how much information we get, which may not be necessary, to be honest. The game has a little bit of sniper bias right now, as I like to call it, where snipers win a bit more, but that's probably due to the way we do missions, right? We do any 4 or 5. We kind of push the boundaries of what the spy can do, because that feels more daring. So I'm not saying that the game is inherently unbalanced toward the sniper. It might be, but I doubt it. I think it's fairly fair. Fairly fair. I think it's rather fair. But, tricks like that I don't feel like we need. I don't feel like we need any more mechanisms to help us with that. As snipers, we're going along just fine. We're chugging along great. And even with all the depth there, I know we've not picked up on all of it. I apologize. Even with all the people, I still learn things on occasion where not even that far apart. where I'm just like, oh my god, how did I never notice this, or how come I never thought of this? And I'm not saying they happen constantly or terribly often, but they happen often enough that I don't think we've explored even the entirety of this single mission. This single one mission, I don't feel like we've fully explored. And there's no way I have tonight. There's no way this video has covered the entirety of it. Let me just put that plainly. Are there any other questions? Or is that gonna be the night? Let's see. Well, this looks like a good one. Right now I kind of want to just cover questions on banana breads and stuff. I'm sorry, Tubby C, but I'm just kind of trying to cover this single thing for now. His question is on bugging, which I'm actually, as I'm going to announce in a moment, going to be covering next time. In a way. Before I fully announce that, I want to make sure if there's any other banana bread questions or anything to do with Double Agent, I'd love to answer that. And then I'm going to say what I'm doing next week and probably call it a night. So, if there's any other questions, please toss it up in the chat real fast. Hopefully I can help. Sometimes, you might ask something and I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not the world's best Spy Party player by any means. But hopefully my experience can help you guys. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't think by any means I'm like the perfect player. So, I think that's all the questions. I think, looking at the chat. So, what's gonna happen is next week I'm going to do a similar styled stream on two things actually. It's not because the banana bread. The reason I picked it as a single one was because it was a starting point. I didn't know quite, how this would all pan out. And now that I have a better understanding of, that, I think the plan is to move on to maybe a little bit of a, more of a dual analysis. And I am going to do my stream next week on two things. These are two big things that I know people have issues with, and that's why I'm jumping straight to those. Now, of course, I'm focusing on specific missions, and I'm trying my best to keep it newbie-centric, in a way. At least at the beginning. I will definitely get into higher-level play once I've covered all the missions. But I want to just start making sure we're all on the same page, so we can all understand and agree on what's going on. Hopefully we can. I swear. You just gotta stick with me. So next week I'm going to be doing swap the statue swap, whatever you want to have it, and bugging the ambassador. And the reason I'm botching taping those two together is because they're both hard tells, and they're common missions that a lot of players have trouble with. I'm not even saying, I would almost go so far as to say I have trouble with them on occasion, if not more than just on occasion. I've been shot for quite a few helicopter bugs in my day, and that's something I want to help people with. Scientist asks Spire Sniper. I'm trying to do both sides here. A lot of my sniper footage tonight, which I looked up, I double checked, not even just a few days ago, disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. I have times written down. I had it. Somebody else was even helping me with this, and yet still some of it disappeared. Now, thankfully, it wasn't critical pieces. It's critical clips I wanted to show. As you can tell, everything worked out fine. I'm not worried about it. But hopefully in the future that doesn't happen. Hopefully in the future, next week being the future, things go a little better. So, I appreciate you all watching. That's going to be the end for the first Tutorial Tuesday. I hope it helped. I hope anybody watching now, I hope if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch VOD or whatever crazy media I throw this on, I hope it helped. Because that's the goal. The goal is to help people get better at Spy Party, to make them, want to, how do I put it? To make them want to succeed. Because I can understand the game can be off-putting. It can be really hard to just get into it first. And that's fine. I totally get it. Without, like a mentor or somebody there helping you, telling you what to do, you might feel lost and grasping at straws. my idea is to help attempt to be that person. So I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. I stream normal Spy Party on Wednesdays and Fridays through Mondays. That's an awkward schedule to say. On Tuesdays, I of course do Tutorial Tuesdays, and on Thursdays, I have a bit of an off night where I just kind of play my own game. So, you can find me on Twitch here, or YouTube if you're watching from there, which I'm going to upload this right afterwards. And I also have a Twitter, which is just at Drawnonward. I appreciate you guys all watching, and I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in. Good night. Banana bread.